I really think there's a lot to learn from PewDiePie's experience and how he approaches drawing and how he, learned and to draw over the last 100 days. And I really love seeing this that he continued to draw. He started with the first 30 days as an experience, but then he liked it so much and he enjoyed it so much that he continued. And especially these days with AI art, a lot of people may be inclined to just, use AI, put some prompts, and then have something that looks nice. But the idea of that, art is more than just the final piece, and the process is as important as the final result makes me really happy that he sees that and he did this experience and he really enjoyed the experience.
So in my last video, I decided to try and practice drawing every day for 30 days. And I realized this is amazing. I'm having so much fun. And I could compare the result when I started to after 30 days, and it was a big difference. So it really made me motivated to keep going.
So the first thing that he said is that he had fun. He had fun drawing for the first 30 days, so he just decided to continue. And this is awesome. I think a lot of us forget that art and drawing can be fun, and then we focus so much on the study part that we forget to enjoy it and have fun with it.
5 days after I'd done my video, I felt like I just lost sort of what I had gained. Like, I was so mad about it, and I felt like a fraud. Like, oh, did I just trick everyone? Because I couldn't draw anymore.
So the first thing that he said is that he felt like, all the experience that he had gained and improvement that he has made is completely lost, and he feels like a fraud, and he feels like he forgot everything. I think that's very important because I think most of us feel that way a lot of times. And it's good to know that, progress is not linear in art. We can learn at different stages. It goes up, comes down again. Some days are better than others. We may feel that we're going backwards, but that's really progress in art. You move 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards. And we do that. And overall, we progress. But when we look at it day by day, we might have some days that we feel, progress is slower or that we have even took a step back.
We'll go through this quickly. I started drawing more realistic, less anime, and I drew this one. And my god, I was so proud of it. I loved it so much. I couldn't believe I drew it. And I felt like, yes, I did it. I drew something I liked. Finally. It was also kind of a blessing and a curse because I would always compare whatever I drew to the best thing I felt like I drew. And it made me really hate a lot of stuff that I drew that I don't think was that bad. I don't know.
So the other thing that he did was comparison. Oh my God, this is something that we all do. And it's, it can be good, but for the most part, I think it can hurt us if we're not mindful of it. He compared his art to the best one that he has ever made. So that's okay. I mean, he's comparing it to himself. But the other way that most of us do is we compare to other people and other artists, and that could be very harmful. So, remember to be kind to yourself and not always compare, even if it is comparing to yourself. Know that, some drawings are naturally better than others, and that's okay. We're experimenting, we're learning, and that's why our art is not always the same and it's not always as amazing, as great as we want it to be. It's just the process of learning and improving.
It's interesting because now I look at this and I can immediately tell just like what's way off. The head is too small. It's not really balanced. It's the sort of stuff you automatically pick up when you draw. Yeah, and the eye is way too high up in comparison, you can see here.
This is also a good one. After we practice a lot, we practice the same thing a lot. He's drawing lots of, faces and anime style. He started to notice some of his old mistakes. He started to notice the proportions. He started to notice some of these things. So this is a good lesson, just as we do things repetitively more and more and more and doing these quantities, we start to understand it better. We start to see some of our mistakes in our old drawings, and it becomes easier to do these things. So here, quantity, like he's doing this over and over again, he starts to understand it better.
Oh yeah, so I drew with no reference because everyone, like I said, everyone said draw with reference. That's the best way to improve, to study other forms and shapes. So I wanted to draw without just to sort of see if I was improving, and definitely felt like I had.
Okay, then the concept of reference versus no reference. Obviously what he says is true. Using reference is the best way to improve. If you don't use a reference, how are you supposed to know what the thing that you're trying to draw is supposed to look like? So everything that you have in your library is very limited. In your visual library is very limited, and you won't be able to recall them as accurately as you want. So So the painting or the drawing that you're trying to do may not be very accurate. So using reference, obviously the best thing you can do when trying to improve. Every once in a while, of course, try no reference to just test yourself and see how much can you remember, how much have you retained from all your practice and doing references and using the references.
I think I use myself as reference for some of these. I know that's kind of weird. I just needed the pose that I wanted to draw.
Okay, this is a really good tip that I still haven't done it too much myself, is to use yourself as reference. You know, we look in Pinterest and Google and everywhere for the perfect reference for the pose that we want to do. But one of the best things that we can do, we all have the camera, we can just take a photo of ourselves in the pose that we want and just use it as a reference, you know, the facial expression or whatever we want. And that is a great thing to do. You know, it's perfect. You get exactly the angle that you want, you get exactly the pose that you want, and you can use yourself as reference.
Markers just to kind of try it out. And obviously it takes more time to color stuff, but I really enjoyed doing it, and it sort of makes them come to life more. And I was trying out different things. Sometimes it doesn't work. I drew that one, but I was too scared to actually commit to coloring it because I thought I would ruin it.
Okay, so a few times he mentioned that he is too scared to color it. And I think that is something that we all struggle with, which is experimentation and trying out new things. I think he really likes the drawing the way it is, so he's scared to add the colors, so he may ruin the painting. But luckily with digital art, we don't have that issue because we can always obviously draw or paint on extra layers. But when doing traditional, that's a real fear. You know, you have something that you're really proud of and you're really happy with, and you're just scared of experimentation. And that's completely fine. I think every once in a while, it's okay to leave things as is and leave it at the drawing stage. But it's okay to experiment, and it's okay if the experimentation fails. And it's okay, you know, that's how we learn. Through failure with trying new things is the way we learn and improve. I would say that his coloring is actually very good. I'm surprised and impressed by the way he adds and uses these alcohol markers to do the, I'm assuming they're alcohol markers to use and color his drawings. He's really doing very well with blending and adding the color.
I think it works. So it took me 40 days to feel like I drew something I liked again. I feel like there's definitely an improvement. I can see it already, but it just took me so many tries. And I was trying different, anytime the head is shaped differently, it's like a whole different ball game if you're not used to it. So for day 98, I wanted to draw with you guys. So we'll do that now.
So this is actually very nice to see, is when he starts showing us a demo of him drawing, is using, he's really learning the fundamentals. You know, he starts the head as a circle, he puts, you know, where he thinks the eye is supposed to be, and learning the structure of the face really helps him draw. And it's good, even it may have been, I don't know if it was intentional or just by coincidence that he figured this method for himself, but you know, knowing the fundamentals and learning your process of a structure, it really helps with drawing consistently, I think.
When I started going to the gym like 7 years ago, I was not in shape at all. But I remember thinking after I'd done it, I was like, well, I've done it once. Now I just got to keep going. And then eventually I'll hit my goal. And I'm kind of keeping the same mentality with drawing, you know? I don't know what my goal is, but all you got to do is keep practicing. That's all it takes. You know, you don't get better unless you actually put in the work, right?
I'm honestly really amazed by how much he's improved in 100 days. Obviously, he was just really focused on one topic, but it still says a lot. You know, if you focus on one thing and really practice it a lot. And one of the things that he does is he draws something that he enjoys. He likes to draw these anime style characters, and he's doing it. It keeps him motivated, and he learns a lot from it, and he really improves. And, you know, it's good to know that, you know, looking back, if you look back day one to compared to day 100, you see the improvement a lot. It's not good to look day by day of the improvement because, as we saw in his experience as well, some days were just worse than others. And you can't just say, oh, I'm not improving because my drawing today is worse than yesterday. It's good to look over a longer period of time. Even 100 days may be too short. So sometimes it's good to look back 6 months or a year, and then you'll see that you're actually improving and you see the progress. And like he said, you just really need to practice. You just need to really put in the time, and by practicing, you really see the improvement. Really, I really enjoyed watching his video and his experience, and there's so much to learn from just his attitude towards it. So, just be, kind to yourself, practice, learn, and draw things that you like, and just have fun. Art is supposed to be fun, so let's try and remember to have fun when we're also trying to study and improve.